Hey everyone, so today I thought I would look at some matches from recent tournaments in the North American region to see what's been going on and kind of look at some teams that I think will be very, very good coming up in the next UCS season because we're kind of in that dead period right now, kind of seeing what will happen starting from next year. So today we're looking at Shungite versus GT in Unite Mics Mayhem Season 2, Week 1. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what these two teams do. And I think both teams are very talented. So Shungite, I think OG Rima have been playing together for a long time. They have very good synergy. And I think they have very good prospects for jungle. It might be Yikes or Chaotic, we'll see. But either player is very good at this game and very talented and have been pretty good in competitive history. So I think it'll be kind of interesting to see which jungler Shungite ends up picking up. I think JL and Get Down, of course, very good support players as well. On the side of GT, they've been kind of an established team for a while. Kratos is back in jungle. Black Siege has kind of returned to play attacker. And we'll kind of see what Lakoding does as well in the next UCS season. I think all of them are very, very good. And Agnum Espo are kind of players that have been sticking with that team for a while. So obviously, they have a lot of experience on there as well. But with that being said, let's hop straight into game one. I think it's around here. So game one, this is a draft tournament. So let's take a quick look at the draft here. This might not be the final draft. Let me see. Okay, it is the final draft. So we got, I think Scyther. Yep, Scyther, Mew, Wigglytuff, Talonflame, Mamoswine against Trevenant, Sableye, Ninetales, Azumarill, and Decidueye. This is interesting. So one thing to keep in mind is that because there's an up-and-coming draft system, I think the draft system will definitely be used in UCS tournaments. As long as they kind of fix a lot of bugs and mistakes and problems that have been going on with the draft system, it'll probably be implemented in the upcoming season for sure. So we have to kind of keep in mind that these tournaments with draft systems are probably going to be what we're going to see in the future for tournaments that really end up mattering for Worlds. So they kind of ended up banning Blissey and Mime. I kind of agree with both of these. Maybe not the Mime ban from GT, but I guess they did want to pick up the Sableye instead of banning it. So it actually kind of makes some sense. And Blissey's definitely a very, very strong Pokemon right now for sure. So not bad for sure. Let's see how this plays out. Not play at a low volume so that I can keep myself pretty clear. Black Siege is definitely very, very experienced on the Ninetales. Probably one of his most played Pokemon. Definitely good that they have the Ninetales and the Trevenant to kind of peel for the Decidueye. I think that's definitely a good synergy. The Decidueye Kratos is always very, very good at Decidueye. I think he can kind of carry this entire team, do all the damage for this team, while the Ninetales, the Trevenants, and the Azumarill kind of like these solidly defensive Pokemon staying in front of him. We can see kind of OG. I haven't seen OG play Scyther that much. So I guess he gets one stack there. Actually falling very, very low. He's might fall to Espo here. He does. That's kind of one of the problems also with Scyther, that he's very, very squishy, even though he's a very explosively damage burst character. You might even need to go Focus Fan to kind of survive these situations where you might die going for the stack. Okay, X is going for the kill on the coding. Doesn't quite pick it up. Does get his eject button and his Focus Band. The Talonflame is definitely an interesting pick. I think it can work. But they might be lacking a little bit in consistent damage other than the Scyther. We use a lot of burst damage, but usually you kind of see the burst or the DPS damage from the jungler side. Wow, GT have already scored 55 points in the bot side goal. Probably getting a bunch of stacks with Kratos. Yeah, this is looking very bad for Shungite. They kind of ended up going top lane, but they didn't even getting a kill. Kind of one of the weaknesses of Talonflame for sure. And everybody actually gets kind of cleaned up there by Shungite, which is not bad for sure. But all the experience went on rolling it in JL, which is not really what we want to see. Level 5 Talonflame still, level 4 Mew. Definitely a good rotation, but now Azumarill also getting all his stacks, and OG is still level 4 in Scyther. A little bit troublesome. I suppose kind of hovering around here trying to get a pick. Good stun by Black CH. And pulling it down. Kind of gets out of his life, but JL does fall. The coding is very, very strong here. That's kind of one of the problems of rotating as well, is that the enemy top laners usually end up going some kind of stacking item is going to get a bunch of scores in. So now they're going to have a level 8 Azumarill on the side of GT with kind of 6 weight stacks. And then OG also gets punished trying to go for some stacks of his own. And then Kratos probably gets another attack weight stack in here. S was just kind of causing a lot of trouble. It's a little difficult to kind of pick off the Sableye still in this meta, even though it got nerfed. Sableye's still definitely a decent pick in a lot of situations, especially in draft. And the coding does fall to the Azumarill Unite. It's not the worst because they did get their Unite. GT is probably looking to either just go straight for the bottom objective and keep the coding top, or they want to kind of pressure top and break that goal zone because you don't want the Regieleki to just break it for free. See, Shungite is trying to play around this Regirock, but they've kind of gotten an early engage without the Talonflame. And both Scyther and Wigglytuff have fallen. They have the Decidueye Unite, and they kind of just melt all of Shungite's, all of Shungite. Yikes is in trouble, can't hold this. And another gold pad falls. There's no way Shungite can hold this. They're kind of all just inting, trying to defend this. Oh, that's a huge Mew Beam though. Picks up 2 kills. They do still get the break, but Rima gets a good amount of comeback EXP. Not bad. But they're still down almost 100 points. Oh, and Shungite actually managed to pick up the... the Regieleki with JL going top. Oh, actually, wait, hold on. Let me see. Where was JL at this time? Okay, so JL goes top once the Regirock is being contested. And then all of GT kind of rotates down for this Regirock and he stays top. That's interesting. To be honest, Shungite is so behind at this point. At this point in the game that I'm looking at, that I don't think JL's presence there would have made much of a difference. So honestly, him picking up the Regirock and kind of getting some comeback experience, and some points in top, not the worst. Yeah, I don't really disagree with that. Okay. This is a good beam. Okay, let's go back to the present that we were watching. Yep, he puts in the points. Nice level 9. Shungite's definitely just looking to pick up a bunch of experience and kind of get all that farm on their side of the map. It's very, very hard to push against a team that's a Decidueye that has both their goal zones up. You definitely want to pressure early against a Decidueye team and break their goal zone, so Decidueye is in a much more vulnerable spot. But right now, like Ninetales, Decidueye, Trevenant, BT's comp is like very, very good to kind of capitalize off of the early lead they've built off of. But late game they might struggle a bit because Decidueye is basically all of their DPS. But for now, they're in a very, very good spot as long as they hold on to these goal zones. Shungite needs to try to make a push with a lot of their Unites that kind of might be expendable, like the Scyther Unite or the Talonflame Unite, to get a goal zone push. So it looks like they're trying that right now. We see OG kind of going off screen, trying to kill Kratos. He does end up picking up Kratos. JL's going onto the pad. They're kind of chunked, but OG's out of the fight because he lost a lot of his HP going for Kratos. Rima uses the Unite move, but probably will not be able to get any KOs here. And it's another failed push for Shungite. Oh, Yikes does end up missing the fly, but he uses a Unite move, picks up a kill on Black CH. Trying to look for the coding, but this Azumarill is pretty hard to kill. He gets this thing off, and then he should fall here. Okay, nice. They're trying to get some points in top lane, because Eggnoob wasn't even there at that fight, but there again. This Decidueye with a pad is so powerful. It's so hard to even break the pad. They were in a 4v5 the entire time. GT was in a 4v5, because Eggnoob was scoring 30 bot lane and getting all the farm. Now he's about to hit level 11 for this next objective. But Shungites, on the other hand, weren't even able to push the goal zone and break it. I think there are like a number of factors involved there. OG picked up the KO on Kratos very quickly, but other than OG, there's basically no DPS. So all of GT's like more tanky mons, like the Azumarill and the Ninetales, were not able to be taken out, and they get the Regieleki here after all that time. It's going to go in. Though it's not that much of an important objective. And it's good here. I think OG is trying to finish his Regirock. He should pick it up. Nice. Okay. That's not bad at all, actually. Not a bad trade. He's going to fall here, but that's okay. They're pretty behind. Okay, he's going for the Scyther Unite. Isn't able to pick anything up. Buddy Barrier on the Trevenant defender. Very, very difficult to KO. Yikes is trying to look for Espo. Isn't able to find the KO. Sableye is always sneaky and difficult to catch. But honestly, overall, that was pretty good exchange for Shungite. They're already behind a bunch of points, which is definitely not a good spot, but the Regieleki just broke top for 17 points over. Not the worst. And now Shungite's definitely looking to catch up on the experience and try to get a bunch of levels on their important mons like the Mew and the Scyther. It might still be possible in the late game of this fight. GT is definitely very reliant on these goal pads still and trying to keep their Decidueye safe, but if Kratos does end up misstepping against Shungite's team comp, he can definitely get caught. There's no way he can take out the Trevenant here. He's too tanky. OG falls. And if OG being dead, there's no way you can ever win the team fight. And Espo's scoring 40 top. GT is just one step ahead. They see all the pushes from Shungite. They're putting people on the other side to score points because GT's comp, as I've said before, is so good at holding these pads. There's so many tanky mons and a lot of CC on the side of GT to hold these pads. So honestly, this comp is pretty well done by GT and shutting down all of Shungite's pushes that they really desperately need with their team comp. And now they're just full hitting the Rayquaza. Shungite is completely zoned and they get it. And that's probably just going to be the end of game 1. They're too far behind points already. Espo's going to get past rolling it. Agnoob's still going to score his 50. And then Laconing probably goes center and scores his 50 as well. There's no way to break any of these shields. Uses this Unite to kind of guarantee that score. Yeah, that's going to be game. Honestly, it might be... People looking from the outside might think that Shungite is kind of just not really doing much about that flip, but it's very difficult to get in against GT's comp. They have a lot of pick with the Zoom Roll, the Ninetales, and the Trevenant. In a draft tournament like this, it's kind of hard to kind of know what exactly is going to be good against what GT's going to be picking. I think all their players are definitely very flexible. Definitely well done by GT here for sure. It just seems like from a very early start, Kratos just had a very effective gank bot lane. Kind of, I think, taking out both, rolling it, and Rima, and then also managing to score all their points. And then, yeah, Kratos does an incredible amount of damage. No real way to even get to him through all of the goal pads, the Ninetales, the Trevenant, and Shungite's team kind of relied on taking out Kratos very early in the fight with the Talonflame and the Scyther, but didn't really end up working. Couldn't really get any of these pushes to be successful, and none of the goal zones were broken early. And even though I think GT's comp isn't the best early game, Ninetales is probably pretty good, but you would think Mew and Scyther would be very, very solid in kind of getting a lead in these lanes. They kind of gank top that didn't really end up getting anything, and then they gank bottom by Kratos, which got a bunch of stacks, a ton of points in the bot goal zone, made it very difficult for Shungite to ever have a chance of coming back into that game. And so once they were kind of in that spot, really behind points and levels, GT didn't really even see them anywhere. Espo does a good job of scouting them out, and then they just full hit Rayquaza and they get it. So pretty flawless by GT. They even end up losing one goal pad, and kind of knew exactly what Shungite was going for with these pushes. So let's see what they kind of do with the second game and their comps. They end up banning Blissey again, not bad. GT takes away Sableye, interesting. Then I'm going to Mamoswine. Not a bad decision. Let's just skip ahead to the final draft. Garchomp. This is interesting. I think it's Yikes playing Garchomp bot lane, and I think it's Ninetales jungle, or it might be Garchomp jungle actually. So definitely this comp by Shungite is definitely a lot more team fight oriented. Trying to scrap a lot and get a lot of skirmishes with the Garchomp and the Eldegoss. Okay, OG is playing Garchomp top, okay. And Yikes is now playing Scyther jungle. Black CH on the Blastoise attacker, that is very, very interesting. I think, I'm not sure what move set he ends up going, but Blastoise is something that is not, it's like okay in lane because it has the water gun that can push kind of creeps backwards. They're also going 1-1-3. This is really interesting. I guess it works out because they have a zoom roll top, but I'm not sure if you want to leave a Gibble alone and not be able to punish him. I don't know if I agree with that decision from GT actually. Yeah, OG is almost all 5 ready. It's going to be very big Garchomp top lane. Coding kind of doesn't end up getting anything. And GT actually doesn't even end up winning that exchange bot lane against Rima and rolling it. Freeze lane is very good. Ninetales Mamoswine deals a ton of damage, has a ton of CC. They don't end up getting that creep, but Rima should end up hitting level 4 and should be okay. And Kratos ends up going top. Yeah, I think this is a good decision by DG, try to get some more out of these bees top lane and try to fight them, but OG should have, yep, OG does have the Dragon Rush. Gets the bees on the other side, and Yikes is there to respond to Kratos' gank. This is really, really good. You want to play in the same side as a Decidueye. Nice, this is huge. They all get their points. Yikes is probably going to get stacks. OG takes this berry, and OG is going to pick up a ton of farm as well. Yikes is about to hit probably like 4 or 5 weight stacks immediately. Gale's putting some pressure on the jungle. Really, really good plays by Shungite. Oh, 102 points to 0. I think this was really good in particular because what Yikes did this game was definitely recognize that you want to play in the same lane as Decidueye upon that first gank. I think the fact that they went to separate lanes the first game made it very, very difficult. Rolling is kind of looking for some kills, does get his focus band. He also ends up getting his focus band procced as well though. But he's buying some space so that the bot laners can't come to the bees. I think that's very good. Now Yikes is picking up all the bees. Very high experience. This Scyther is going to be level 9. He's going to be an absolute menace at his first objective. I think what Shungite did really well again was Yikes went in the same lane as Kratos, and Kratos can't really do anything as Dark Tricks against honestly like any jungler in the game that has like decent early game. He definitely would have struggled against the Talonflame last game, but especially Scyther this game for sure. They responded to the gank and managed to find him going top. Now Yikes is very, very powerful, level 8. Probably like 4 or 5 weight stacks. Looking to keep going. They want to break this gold zone before they get the Reggie Lucky for sure. Graves is under a lot of pressure. They buy some time and space for Yikes to score. And that's probably his 5th or 6th weight stack. Very, very powerful. Huge start for Shungite. And this is really good because they also have late game agency with the Garchomp and the Eldegoss. I think this is going really well. 2v2 bot lane. Try to respond to their Reggie Rock push. Yikes ends up recalling and going for the Reggie Rock. This is interesting. Rima ends up getting caught by the confusion. Does end up going down. Yikes is here. The Scyther Unite ends up taking out 3 of them immediately. Looking for the KO on Kratos. And he picks it up. Yikes is on fire right now. Probably going to be a... Okay, Aspa does end up getting away because he has Trick and he has X speed. And then OG does end up getting the Reggie Lucky top lane as well. That was really good actually. I thought it might have not been enough time for Yikes to come bot to contest that first Reggie bot, but he just ended up getting there in time. Kratos wasn't on it quite yet because he was under a lot of pressure top lane. He probably ended up recalling and doing his buffs. Maybe GT on the other side should have skipped the buffs and tried to go straight for the Reggie before Yikes could go from top lane all the way to bot lane. But now they end up losing both objectives. OG is actually going very deep here. Did Azumarill have the Unite move here? No, yeah, he does. Okay. OG is very ambitious for going for this when the Azumarill still has a Unite move for sure. Yeah, this is a little bit of a throw. End up giving a lot of experience over. Rolling it might end up falling as well. No, I think they're both fine. Yep. Rima's very aggressive. Uses a Unite move. Okay, Yikes comes in with the Scyther Unite. Picks up a bunch of kills. Kratos is kind of exposed using the Decidueye Unite. And Yikes picks up 4 KOs in a row. Wow. Because he has full heal, the only thing that can really stop him is nothing, actually. He can full heal the Mind Confusion, and he just runs through their entire team. Definitely a very, very difficult time for GT to try to do anything against this. Yikes is definitely looking to carry this game and put away this game too for Shungite. They did end up using 2 Unite moves, however, the NA Unite, which I think definitely went to waste. Then also the Scyther Unite, although it ended up picking a bunch of KOs. Yikes is still very, very huge here. On the side of GT though, I think they'll have all their Unites except the Decidueye Unite. They can play for both objectives at once because they have the Hoopo Unite. That's the strong objective power of the Hoopo Unite. So they're probably looking to kind of rush this bottom objective. Yep, they're trying to rush this bottom objective so they can ult top as well and get both of them. Very good play from GT, I think. I think this should have end up working pretty well. They have all their Unites to try to put themselves in a good spot here. And they end up picking it up. Yep. And now Shungite's probably going to be stuck bot lane, trying to defend against this push and not lose their bot goal zone, and then they can port top lane as well and get the Regieleki, get some points back. Shungite should be looking to score bot lane here. You see all of them top. Oh, they could have scored Black CH's 40. Okay, Rima scored bot lane. Let me see how many points did they score here. 204, 244 from OG's 40 top. So they went from 244 to 3. Oh no, so 291 to 314. So they ended up getting like 80-ish points, 90-ish points from that push. Honestly, not a bad trade. They ended up giving up some experience with some KO's bot lane, and then they managed to score top. But I actually think this was pretty well done by Shungite. I think they didn't need 4 and 5 people from the side of GT to take that Regieleki down. They should have sent like maybe 2 or 3 to kind of rush that Regieleki, score the necessary points. I mean, Kratos was the only one to end up scoring. But he ends up using a Unite move here. The Unite move is not that fast charge on the side of Ninetales. Just kind of by yourself at the bees there. They're kind of looking to get some points off this push. Rolling it does end up going down. But I think Shungite's already spawning. They should be able to hold this pad. Yep, he can use this. He's like Scyther Knight one more time. Try to find a KO on Espo. They don't end up getting it actually. The Cody might fall? No, Yikes actually overextends trying to get a kill off this Unite move and ends up falling. This is interesting now. All of GT has like decent levels. 13, 13, 13. Even though Yikes is level 14, they don't have a bad chance that there's a straight up team fight on the side of GT. Last was definitely a strong force. He's rapid spin, water spout. Definitely a strong force in his team fights. Trying to pick up this Regiwarok. There should be more on the side of Shungite trying to contest this bottom objective, but they just let it go. Not a good look for this. Even though they don't see it, they can see that there's only 4 of that objective because Agnew was farming his Unite move top. Shungite could have had much more here. 314 to 81, definitely a massive point lead. They know they scored a ton of points on both the top and the bot lane inner pad. They could be looking to get some scores because I think GT is actually very, very strong in this team fight situation. OG's looking to go in, has a level 13 Garchomp, gets a pretty good Unite move, chunking them very hard, knocks up a bunch of people. Looks like GT's actually falling here. The coding's slow. But two of the people also fall for Shungite. Kratos is low. Yikes is looking to get a kill. He does him getting it. Okay, kind of a stalemate situation. They did end up pretty much using all 5 Unite moves on both teams. They're looking to hit it. They should probably look to pick up some farm on the side of Yikes. Try to get their Unite move back. If GT ends up trying to do this without Unite moves, I think the best situation could be trying to just pick up some points and going to score. But definitely committing to a forward across the fight is not what you want to see from Shungite's side. Getting a little damage on the Black CH, he gets a trick. He's probably going to end up healing a bit. OG tried to find Kratos, but ends up getting really, really chunked. He also has no points, so he's pretty much dead weight here in this situation. He can't score and he can't get any kills. GT's just going straight into the Rayquaza. They're probably going to end up getting it. Yep. And they're all very, very low from this kind of all-in engage, and they're all going to end up falling here, and they can't break any of the shields. They need to score twice. Agnub's going to score. No, Black Sage is going to score 50, and as Espo ends up scoring the 43. Will Agnub also scores 100? I actually don't think it matters, actually. I think 43 and 100, or 86 and 100 were enough. They just went for an all-in fight. on GT, and GT ends up taking it. Yes. Yikes, ends up losing with 15 KOs on Scyther. Shungite actually did really, really well with their macro this entire game, I feel like. They managed to keep up. Even though they had a hoop on the side of GT, they managed to keep up in terms of points, in terms of experience. GT did end up getting both the bot Reggie and the top Reggie when they used the Hooping Knight, pretty well, pretty strategically. But even then, they managed to score kind of like 90 or 100 points off that exchange because GT did not end up recalling time to try to stop those bot scores after they took the second Reggie Lucky. But like, during that last fight, it was kind of a stalemate. I think OG, one of the problems with the Garchomp is that the eject button is pretty much your most important resource, and once that's used as a 70-second cooldown, very hard to get on the Decidueye, especially past like some beefy mons like Azumarill and Blastoise. It's gonna be really hard to win that fight. But if GT starts just flipping the Rayquaza, they're getting damaged by it, they're getting knocked up by it, and they're all kind of centered and clustered around the Rayquaza pit. Shungite can kind of just look to pick up some kills before the Rayquaza falls, but not get into an all-in engage. I think that's kind of what the big issue was there. GT kind of needed to hit the Rayquaza to end up having any chance to win that game because of how behind they were on points. But Shungite kind of knows, or it should have, like, a decent idea that a team fight's going to be very difficult with no eject button, the Garchomp, kind of a Ninetales, and a Scyther that doesn't have a Unite move. All these kind of factors end up leading to a very, very difficult refight. And GT just has a comp that really doesn't rely that much on Unites, and also very beefy and tanky Pokemon in general. Definitely have to look for some scores at the very end. I think going for some kills in like a kind of poke or little like quick skirmish kind of style and try to pick up like 1 or 2 KOs before going for some scores is definitely a good thing for Shungite to go for. But at the same time that they're doing that, they should probably be sending somebody to their Bako zone, maybe JL or something like that, because I know OG only had 2 points, but maybe JL or rolling it, the defenders or the support who aren't as necessary to do damage to GT as they're trying to start the Rayquaza. If they just score 100, even just 100 was enough to win the game. Having a good idea of how many points you're ahead of the enemy team based on how much you score on their bot and top tier 2 goal zone, it's definitely important to keep in mind, and I think that's kind of what ended up costing Shungite that game. But I think their macros in the early game was very, very good, and that's definitely a very close match in that game too, for sure. GT did end up struggling a little bit, especially against the Scyther, and Yikes did a really good job of kind of following where Kratos was going and managed to get on top of him. And I think OG's Garchomp was definitely putting in the work early game. But they ended up giving up some experience, and they managed to get all the level 13s for the side of GT at the Rayquaza fight, which is definitely troublesome for them, especially in that second Rayquaza fight. But very interesting and very fun series to watch. Hoping to see more from Shungite and GT in the future. And then we'll probably be looking at some other teams that are very, very good in the North American region and show a lot of promise to be a strong force in next year in some upcoming videos. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Look out for some more content from me in the future by liking, subscribing, following me here on Twitter and Twitch. And I'll see you guys next time.